This is my new DM screen, and despite running the game for over 5 years, this is actually the first one I've ever owned, but I don't like it. I'm going to transform it from a moderately useful screen with some useful bits and pieces into a mighty morphin monstrosity of a multi-purpose tool for running D&D and other TTRPGs. My name's Rich, and this is Renegade Rolls. So will I be spending a fortune? Will I be handcrafting something from the ancient trees, full of whispers and secrets from the heart of the witchwood? Will I need power tools? Probably not. It's tempting, but no. All I actually need are the mightiest of weapons in the Game Master's arsenal. It's index cards and some little pouches as well. My goal is to run lo-fi offline sessions of D&D and other TTRPGs for me and my friends, and I don't want to be looking up a book halfway through a session, or worse, checking my phone to find details of the rules or information about the world that I've created. This screen is from the D&D Wilderness Kit, which came out in 2020. It came with these cards for conditions and initiative tracking, a sheet with actions in combat to hand out to players, a card box which annoyingly instantly tore, wipe down hex maps and resource trackers, and of course the DM screen itself. The outside of the screen is beautiful. Look at this spectacular, evocative art. We've got dragons, we've got mountains, we've got a castle, we've got tentacles, we've got a ship in the middle of a crater. I love it. The artist for the external painting is the wonderful Greg Rakowski. Small aside, this guy is incredible and also losing out massively thanks to AI. Check out this article, linked in the description for the full story. I'm of the opinion that if you want to use AI to substitute your own creativity, then yeah, sure, have at it. But please don't use it as a substitute for someone else's. I have no intention of using AI in any part of creating or running my games, and likewise for making these videos, I don't want AI to have any part of it. Why would I want to automate away something that I really enjoy doing? So back to the screen. The outside is awesome. The inside, however, it's okay-ish, I suppose, and actually has some better info on it than the red one, which came out in 2017. This one is focused on wilderness and exploration, so has good details about audible distances, visibility distances, and travel pace. I'll probably keep this panel as is, as it's useful stuff for pretty much any system, but the rest of it, especially all this space taken up with the conditions, could be put to much better use. I also want to keep the screen portable and foldable, so there'll be no turrets, no dice towers, no embedded screens or anything like that. Just as much information as possible in the most compact of shapes. On each panel I've got space for 4 index cards, which will sit in these pouches made from sticky back plastic. For British viewers only, welcome to a surprise Blue Peter episode. Please explain in the comments to anyone elsewhere in the world what on earth I'm talking about. I'm thinking about the screen in 3 distinct sections. What I need for absolutely every game I play, regardless of system. What changes per system, so the different rules I'd need for Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, Index Card RPG, Easy D6, Crown and Skull. I really like Runehammer games, by the way, if that's not completely obvious already. And what changes session to session, so night to night or within a campaign. Every single session I want to keep these things in mind. Number 1 is safety tools. Now you might decide for your table you don't need this at all. For me and the groups I play with, I want to make sure everyone is having a good time, and you can't do that if you're not feeling comfortable. So these include the overall vibe we're aiming for, the lines and veils, as well as tools like pause for a second and pass the parcel. This is just here to remind me to use them, and remind me to share them with players at the start of a session, particularly if that's with new players. Then some quick reminders on good GMing, to make sure I encourage spotlighting, selling, and to remember to give out inspiration whenever something cool happens. Some systems don't have inspiration mechanics. In this case, I just need to remember to say I appreciate any good role-playing that a player does. One of my main jobs as Game Master is to describe the world to my players as their characters encounter it. I try and avoid grand sweeping monologues, and instead try and focus on their senses. We've got the old favourites of sight, sound, smell, touch and taste, but we can add some more here. How about the temperature, moisture, gravity, magical build-up, foreboding or a sense of dread? Some system-specific ones here, and I tend to keep these in pouches at home, ready to be loaded onto the screen as needed. Lots of these have to do with combat, where rulings have to be made very quickly and I don't want to interrupt the flow of a dramatic scene. So we've got attack modifiers, what imposes bonuses or penalties. This varies massively dependent on the game system. D&D 5e keeps it relatively simple with advantage and disadvantage mechanics, but systems like Dungeon Crawl Classics can have you switching dice, which modifies those rolls further to get a final result. conditions now, and it's a really annoying omission in the official screen that it mentions the effects during the conditions, but not how to start or end or contest them. My version also takes up much less space than the original. It's a bit of a squish, but I'm going to do my best to memorise them in future so I can get rid of even having these on the screen at all. Player facing hits is a house rule I use for D&D, brought to my attention by the excellent Professor Dungeon Master. It lets the players roll to defend rather than the Dungeon Master rolling to attack. Players love rolling dice, and when they roll a natural 20 to defend themselves as the enemy fumbles, that's a much better feeling than me describing it to them. And when they roll a natural 1, which means the enemy's crit against them, well, that's not my fault, is it? That's just the dice. The formula isn't too tricky, but a pain to work out on the fly. It's 21 minus the armor class, plus the to hit modifier. The player just needs to meet or beat the target number, and advantage and disadvantage get flipped. There's a similar calculation needed if you want to do this for other systems. Lastly, we've got the campaign or session specific cards. Now this one goes front and centre. Character info, their names, nicknames, pronouns, species, class, and some passive bonuses as well in this case. I refer to this stuff constantly, so having it front and centre is really important. One that I overlooked for a long time, and my sessions were probably poorer because of it, was having location names for nearby or important places, and a few evocative words about each. When the players ask where the merchant on the road is from, I want to be able to say quickly and confidently, "Well, I'm from Canton. Did y'all hear Jane Cobb's back in town?" The major and recurring NPCs get a note as well, where I have super quick summaries for each of them. For the ones which will be active in the session, I've got dedicated cards that sit on the tabletop, and this is for just ease for adding notes during play. Also, recent events, story information, and plot hooks get a pouch as well. These don't necessarily have to be things that the characters interact directly with, but can just be quick bits of world building for me, like it's harvest time. The winter's going to be cold. Goblins were spotted in the south. Speaking of goblins and saving the best for last, a good GM screen would not be complete without a list of NPC names. Sometimes I really do want a Boblin the Goblin or a Jack Smith the Blacksmith, but a list of NPC names specific to the locations, species and cultures the party may encounter is so useful. One time I didn't do this and I got caught out was when I had a minor flunky escorting the party to meet the mayor. They quite naturally said, "Oh, what's your name?" And I didn't have anything prepared, so I panicked. I did some bluster in his voice. "Well, quite frankly, my name is Immaterial." They immediately said, "Hi, Immaterial!" And it stuck. Of course it stuck. With such a good name, he had to come back, so when the characters next met him, he'd thrown off his servitude and was now a pirate captain on the high seas. Anyway, this is my completed GM screen, full of useful stuff. I'm sure I'll be modifying it some more soon, but for now, I think it's ready. I'll see you in the next video, at a table near you with my nice new GM screen, still rolling an improbable succession of ones. Cheers.